Well, guess what? We just got an email from our material supplier saying that there is going to be a 4 to 6% increase in roofing material costs here in just the next few days. And if the past 2 to 3 years are any indication, this will be the first of maybe 2 or 3 or more price increases this year. So that roofing work that you need to get done just got a whole lot more expensive. Let me explain that to you. So in this video, we're going to talk about what a roof replacement is going to cost you in 2023, but I'm going to be pretty upfront with you. What we've seen happen over the last 3 years is roofing material companies have been raising their prices, like I said, 2 or 3, sometimes even 5 times in a year. What that means is that the roofing material prices today are between 20 and 25% higher than they were this same time last year. So if you're planning to get any roofing work done, whether that's a full replacement or even just a repair, the sooner you do it, the better, because the longer that you wait, the more it's going to cost you. One thing that you need to keep in mind though is all roofs are not equal. Some roofs are bigger, some roofs are smaller, some roofs are more complex, some roofs are more simple. Some roofs have luxury materials on them, some roofs just have standard asphalt shingles. The reason you need to know that is because there are factors which will influence the total price of a roof replacement for your house. So we're going to talk about what the standard base price is for a normal home, and I'm also going to talk about what the factors are that could increase that cost. Also, I serve the Colorado Springs market. Where you live, roofing materials might cost more or less. Labor might cost more or less. So I can't talk about all the different scenarios which could ultimately dictate what the cost of a roof replacement for your house will be. So what I'm going to do is just use, for example, a standard, simple, one-story house with a roof that's about 2,400 square feet. But I'm also going to talk about each of the different main factors which could influence that final price and tell you what you can reasonably expect to pay for each one of those things. But this is at least going to give you a starting point, a jumping off point. The other thing to think about too is if you're replacing your roof and that's part of an insurance claim, your only out-of-pocket cost is going to be your deductible, as long as you've got full replacement cost coverage on your insurance policy. So you don't really need to worry too much about what is the ultimate price to replace your roof, because your insurance company is paying for that, except anything that would fall under your responsibility to pay, like if there's any maintenance issues that need to be done. So like if the roofer gets shingles torn off and finds some rotted wood under there, that's probably going to be a cost that you have to pay. Or if you want to upgrade your roofing material to some better type of material. Again, those are things that your insurance company will not pay for. Those are going to be out-of-pocket expenses for you. So let's get started and talk about the different factors that are going to influence the final price of your roof. These are the factors that could potentially cause the price of your roof replacement to increase. Sometimes that's going to be a big increase, sometimes it's just going to be a small increase. So the first thing that could affect the standard base price of a roof replacement for your house is ice and water shield. So if ice and water shield is required by code where you live, then that's going to increase the price from the standard base price. The other thing to think about too is if ice and water shield is required at the eaves of your house, then less of the material will be needed than if it's required to be in the eaves and in the valleys and along all the walls. So the final price to add ice and water shield to your house is going to depend on how much is needed. But you might reasonably be able to expect that adding ice and water shield to your roof could increase the price anywhere from about $1,000, maybe even all the way up to about $3,000. Now I've got a question for you though. Is the current economy, or perhaps even your fear about the current economy, going to have an effect on whether or not you get your roof replaced or even your roof repaired this year? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, the second thing that could affect the standard base price of a roof replacement for you is how complex is your roof? Because any increase in complexity is going to raise the cost of labor to do the roof, and it could also affect the waste factor for the materials that are used on your roof. But what do I mean by a complex roof? Well, is it high? Is it steep? Is it really cut up? And what do I mean by really cut up? Well, does it have a lot of facets and a lot of angles that could increase the waste of the material? So if your roof looks like this, then the cost per square foot is going to be a lot higher than if your roof looks like this. But then also, there's varying degrees of complexity. What if your roof is steep, but not high? Or what if your roof is really cut up, but it's not steep? Or what if your roof is really high and it's not steep or cut up? Then all of that has a bearing on what the final price of your roof is. And if your roof is high and steep and really cut up, then you can expect to pay more. So you can expect a complex roof to add anywhere between, I don't know, maybe as low as $300, maybe even as high as $2,000 or $3,000. It all kind of depends what's going on your roof. The third thing that could affect the standard base price of a roof replacement for you is whether or not you need new decking. Now the decking is the wood that's on your roof underneath the shingles. It's what your shingles nail to. Remember earlier I said that if they get the shingles torn off and they find that some of that wood is bad, maybe some of it's rotted out, maybe some of it's just broken, then those boards are going to have to be replaced because they've got to have wood to nail the shingles to. Or it could be that the roof deck doesn't meet current code, and so the jurisdiction in which you live would require that the whole roof be redecked. So if you just need to replace a couple boards, well then the cost for doing that with the material and labor could be as low as maybe even just a couple $100. But if you have to redeck the whole house, then that's going to be a pretty expensive undertaking. That might actually cost several $1,000s. And depending on what's going on with the price of wood, like what we saw happen back in 2020 when a sheet of OSB went from $10 to $70, then replacing some of that decking could even get more expensive. The fourth thing that could affect your standard base price for your roof replacement is how many layers of roofing material are on your roof. Now, it could just be that there's multiple layers of underlayment underneath one layer of shingles, or it could be that there's even multiple layers of shingles up there. We've done some older homes here that have had one layer of wood shingles covered by 4 layers of asphalt shingles. So all that extra material has to be torn off and thrown into a dumpster and taken off for disposal. Well, that adds extra cost for the labor to tear it all off, and since it adds weight to the dumpster, that increases the disposal cost. So if this is the case on your house, depending on how many layers of material there are up there, you could expect that this could add anywhere from just a few $100s to the cost of the project, even up to a few $1,000s, like $2,000 or $3,000. Hey homeowners, if you're actually getting ready to do a roof replacement on your house and you think it'd be helpful to have a second set of eyes, a second set of professional eyes, take a look at any of the roofing estimates or proposals or even the insurance claims that you're getting, then send an email to info@homesteadroofingcolorado.com. Let me know what it is that you need, and I'll let you know if I can help. The fifth and final factor that we're going to talk about that could affect the standard base price of your roof replacement is access. And what I mean by access is, can the new materials be delivered to your rooftop, or do they have to put them on the ground because they can't get the truck close enough to your house? And then if they put them on the ground, then somebody's going to have to hand carry every one of those bundles up to the roof. Or if the labor crew can't get a dump trailer close enough to your house so that they can just tear the material off and throw it right into a dumpster, then what they're going to have to do is tear everything off, toss it onto the ground, and then hand carry it to the dump trailer. Well, that adds to the amount of labor that's involved in doing your roof replacement, which increases the cost. Depending on how big your roof is and how much material there is, it could cost as little as just a couple $100, or it might even cost $1,000 or more. Now that we got all of those variables out of the way, let's get down to the bottom line. What's it going to cost to replace your roof in 2023? Hey, real quick though, if you find our videos helpful, then guess what? That means probably other people find our videos helpful too. If you subscribe and comment and like the video, then that tells YouTube to spread these videos to other people so that they can get the same kind of help you're getting. Now, I want you to remember what is going on in the world right now. Inflation is going absolutely bonkers. So by the time you see this video, the price of roofing materials might have gone up again, or again and again, or again and again and again. So remember I said that roofing materials today cost 20 to 25% more than they did this same time last year. So you can only expect, as we keep going into the future, how much more expensive this is going to get. But right now, in the market that I serve, to do a roof replacement costs between $5.50 per square foot and $6.50 per square foot. But remember, that's just on our standard single-story, simple roof of about 2,400 square feet. So that means that on that roof, you could expect to pay between $12,000 and about $16,000 to replace that roof. But if you're getting estimates from roofers and you'd like somebody to look those over for you, again, send me an email at info@homesteadroofingcolorado.com, and I'd be happy to look those over for you. Now, if you're getting ready to re-roof your house and you'd like to know what shingle would a roofer put on his own house, click this video right here. And if you'd like some more education on roofing and maybe even the insurance claim process, click this playlist right here.